Welcome to Module 4. In this module, we will look at tools and resources to support sensory disability inclusion. To support effective interaction and inclusion, this module looks at strategies for communicating with individuals with sensory impairments. Let's get started. Many creative activities in youth spaces rely heavily on verbal communication to explain and demonstrate activities. This makes it difficult for people with hearing impairments to engage. You should include written instructions to ensure that everyone can understand and participate. You should also incorporate this into online activities, for example, by putting captions on videos. Sign language translators are essential in facilitating communication between deaf and hearing communities. There are different ways you could include sign language interpreters in your youth center. You may use an in-person interpreter or try video remote interpreting for online activities. You can find more information in the reading materials. Visual impairments can range from very severe impairments to more mild. No matter the level of impairment, it is important to be aware of the different barriers individuals face when interpreting visual information. There are many methods you can use to be inclusive of people with visual impairments. Braille is a cornerstone of communication for individuals who are blind. Available in multiple languages, Braille allows individuals to read books, documents, and signs and to write. New technology enables users to access digital content such as emails, articles, and books on computers, smartphones, or dedicated devices. In your center, ensure signage is in Braille. If possible, invest in the technology to convert text to Braille so that participants can engage with online resources. Screen readers convert text on a screen into speech, allowing users to hear the content aloud. These tools enable individuals to access websites, applications, and other digital content independently. You could provide computers in your center specifically for people with sight loss with screen reading software installed. This would support their ability to use websites, listen to audiobooks, and follow along digital courses. Tactile graphics use raised lines, shapes, and textures to represent visual elements, allowing users to use touch to understand layouts and images. Haptic feedback, on the other hand, uses vibrations or other sensations to convey information. At your center, you could use tactile graphics and art activities so that participants can feel the artworks. It may sound simple, but providing information in large, bold print can make a huge difference for people with visual impairments. Ensure that you use bold fonts and clear color schemes. You could also provide magnifying glasses to ensure that participants can read all necessary information. Keep this in mind when designing flyers and posters for your center. Ensure that you include a selection in large, accessible prints. Individuals with sensory sensitivities may not necessarily have physical impairments, but still require additional support to feel included. For individuals with sensory sensitivity, sensory input can feel more intense than for other people. It tends to occur more often in people who already have heightened sensitivity, such as those with autism, ADHD, sensory processing disorders, or anxiety disorders. This can lead to a range of physical and emotional responses. A key tool to support participants who struggle in this way is to ensure your staff are well trained and understand how to notice if someone is beginning to struggle in a noisy space with certain foods or around bright lights. Ensure that these practices are embedded in your center and that activities are planned with consideration given to people who may become overstimulated. For example, ensure that an art class is in a quiet space or organize specific quiet times in your center. If you will be running a music lesson, make sure people attending your center know in advance when this will be so that they can avoid the noise. Ensure you can dim lights or offer a space with low lighting. You should also be conscious of avoiding flashing or colored lights. If you are going to use these, ensure you inform people beforehand. Texture can be challenging for people with sensory impairments, and this can be difficult in the context of art classes, where participants will be using varied materials and textures. Make sure people attending your center understand the materials they will be using and be flexible, offering alternatives. For example, if you planned a session using sponges to paint, but a participant finds them unpleasant to touch, ask what they would prefer. Have alternatives like sponge rollers with smooth handles ready. Though you cannot control how materials smell, you can offer participants a separate space to try the activity, where the smell may be less overwhelming, or provide alternative materials. You can also offer face coverings. You may not use food often in art classes, but it is still an important factor. Consider sensitivities participants may have to certain flavors and textures of food when organizing social events. Or if you are taking a group on a trip where you will eat together. You can ask not only for dietary requirements in terms of allergies, intolerances, or religion, but also ensure that people with these sensitivities have a chance to inform you of foods they cannot eat. Ensure that staff are well informed and understanding to handle this in a non-judgmental way. Provide clear information beforehand about the food that will be available, so that people are able to bring alternatives with them if necessary. The needs of the participants should be the foundation of your inclusive practices. You should discuss adaptations with participants and listen to their needs. Improved awareness of these challenges will help you adapt your activities and center to be more inclusive. We hoped you enjoyed this module. See you in the next one.